Have you registered your company as a general private equity fund with a Financial Services Commission? In our previous video, we've taken a look at the registration process and requirements of a general private equity fund business. There are some essential steps you have to take after registration as a general private equity fund business. You should sign up as a member of the relevant website and fulfill obligations to report to the Financial Supervisory Authority. In this video, we will learn about ways to respond to questions frequently asked related to operation of an asset management company. There are two things that asset management companies should do after registration. You would need to complete EDI and fines enrollment and report to the Financial Supervisory Authority. The Financial Supervisory Service will notify each company of their company code that's required when signing up to their website. First of all, the EDI system is a system for paperless exchange of documents between the FSS and financial companies. First, download the application from the first screen to become a member of the EDI system. Get well acquainted with the guidelines and exchange documents on financial business reporting and disclosure with the FSS. Next, create an account on the Financial Information Exchange system. Click on Apply for user registration from the main page and sign up by following the registration process. Read through the user manual carefully and submit the report and request for access to the CPC support system. Now, in the event that your trade name gets changed, should you report to the FSS? If you changed your trade name after registration as a general private equity fund business, you need to notify the asset management team through the EDI system. Companies shall comply with relevant laws and regulations when reporting to the supervisory authority to ensure safe operations. The fiscal term for collective investment business entities shall follow the International Financial Reporting Standards selected by Korean in accordance with the enforcement regulation of the Capital Markets Act. After the Act on Corporate Governance of Financial Companies replaced the Financial Investment Services and Capital Markets Act, the laws and regulations related to reporting of changes in key executive officers, the Audit Committee or Audit, compliance officers and major shareholders are now governed by the Governance Act. The important task for companies following registration as a general private equity fund business is to report to the supervisory authority, which can be done under the guidance provided on the website. You can use the internet website if your business has an obligation to disclose information on the management and sales activities and report to the FSS through EDI. General private equity fund business entities should use the Financial Information Exchange system to report to the FSS on the establishment and termination of a collective investment scheme, as well as specific reasons together with periodic reports. Sometimes, private equity fund businesses miss the steps that they should take after registration because they're not familiar with the laws and regulations. Seoul Financial Hub will provide our viewers with a step-by-step guidance. Is it possible to include asset management into the trade name before registration as a general private equity fund business? Non-collective investment business entities are not allowed to use expressions or special characters, including collective investment, investment trust, or asset management in their trade names. In addition, non-financial companies should use caution in particular when applying for registration, just as applicants generally establish a company for managing a general private equity fund business. Please make sure that asset management, which may have been included in your trade name before registration as a general private equity fund business, is no longer included. What are the types of entities that can apply for registration of a general private equity fund business? Stock companies incorporated under the Commercial Act are eligible for registration, but companies newly established as a general private equity fund business, or companies that do not qualify as a stock company by the Commercial Act and thus do not meet the requirements of a general private equity fund business, should check their eligibility. What are the main requirements companies should meet for registration of a general private equity fund business? Everything shall follow relevant laws and regulations to ensure safe business operations. According to the regulations for registration of a general private equity fund business stipulated in the Financial Investment Services and Capital Markets Act, applicants' equity capital shall be at a minimum of 1 billion Korean won. Businesses shall also meet requirements including investment management specialists, physical facilities such as office space and computer equipment, executives, major shareholders, sound financial position, social credit, and measures for prevention of conflict of interest. Here are a few things you need to be aware of. Please be informed that the requirements for obtaining approval for registration of a collective investment business are different from the requirements for a general private equity fund business. For example, unlike collective investment business entities, general private equity fund business applicants do not have to submit a business plan. Then what is the examination timeline for registration of a general private equity fund business? The FSS will examine the application to determine whether authorization shall be granted within 2 months and may demand that the applicant make a supplementary correction if any deficiency exists in the application. Is there anything to consider when creating an office space? A Chinese wall should be installed within an organization to prevent conflicts of interest. For example, there should be a barrier between the proprietary property management team and collective investment property management team. Furthermore, when a supervisory audit activity is performed by an internal or supervisory institution, the company's definition of level of full ownership over facilities, including lease, rental, etc., shall begin following the Financial Investment Services and Capital Markets Act. General private equity fund businesses shall appoint a compliance auditor. The compliance auditor serves the role of evaluating whether the company is compliant with internal controls, conducting investigations for findings of internal control failures, and overseeing relevant work. Let's stop here and look at the conditions for appointment of a compliance auditor. First of all, the auditor shall be appointed by resolution of the Board of Directors. Second, the period of office shall be 2 years or more. Lastly, the remuneration policy and evaluation standard for auditors shall not comprise any variable components based on the company's financial performance. Overseas financial institutions looking for an opportunity to register as a general private equity fund business in Korea should keep the above post-registration guidelines in mind. Create an account on the website and carefully read through the reporting obligations. Seoul Financial Hub, located on the 16th floor of 1 IFC in the Yeouido Financial District in Seoul, is supporting overseas financial institutions' early settlement in Korea. Seoul Financial Hub is looking forward to helping you make your way into Korea.